It will only let me in.
All right. So the way it works is I push events, and then you see where it says join us for Tai Chi Zoom, and I push video call, and it takes me right to this class. I mean, of course, I have to be admitted, but
right. That's an easy way.
But I don't understand.
I don't understand why I don't get the percentages and everything that you're talking about, because the only thing that I have in the left corner is like switch camera or switch to outreach view.
You know what? We oh, I'll tell you. Technology is our friend and our biggest frustration.
Well, I do like my carriage, but I wish I could operate it a little more easily.
So, Miss Betty, you should have a button now that is Senior Planet.
Yes.
Okay. And you requested the YouTube page. Did you get that too?
Well, I get the YouTube, but it's still confusing to me as to how to get you exactly.
Okay. All right. We'll figure this out, but
well, you've been a help so far, and don't take the class time to do this, but eventually I'll get it all together.
Well, I am. What happened to Miss Sylvia? Did Sylvia leave? She probably thought this lady don't know what she's doing, but I do. I really do. I got to pin myself.
Just trying to help all of them. They don't know what we're doing.
I'm trying to help with something that I don't really like. I'm not like the expert or anything at. I just am willing to try.
We appreciate it.
And all the while, let's see, I got a text. I'm trying to get my children acupuncture because they're both athletes and their bodies are just like that. You think whenever you're young that you won't have problems, but can you see this picture of my daughter?
Ooh, that hurt.
Yeah.
That's from getting cupping yesterday.
Oh no.
So I have to get her here's a picture of her actual cups on her. You see those? Isn't that cool? Anyway, I don't know if y'all have ever experienced cupping, but it's if you have an injury, it what it does is kind of pulls blood to the surface. And the way God made us is blood is full of white blood cells that are healing, and pulling the blood to surface helps heal whatever's hurt. So you may have knots in your back, or you may whatever, wherever you're having pain. So that's kind of how cupping works. And acupuncture, it's tiny little needles, and it is wherever you're having an injury or pain, it's energy is blocked. So that's where the problem lies. In the acupuncture, the little needles helps the flow of energy come back, so you can have the healing. That's the best way I know how to explain it, and it might not be a good way of explaining it, but that's yet another thing that I don't know. I'm not an expert at.
You would do cupping and then the acupuncture, is that right?
So you do cupping, and it's kind of like a massage. You take these cups, and it like a hickey. If you take your skin and like suck on it, blood will come to surface. It works kind of like that. That's what that is basically, is hickeys. But he takes those cups, puts oil all over her back, and just massages her back, and he'll find knots, and he'll work those cups over top of it. And then when he's done doing that, he puts the needles all in her back. And I don't have a picture of that. But then he kind of runs his fingers over those little needles, and it kind of jostles everything to start, the energy flowing again, so the injury heals. It's Eastern medicine. It's what you do if you're trying not to be on pain medicine, masking symptoms, but really trying to heal the problem.
That's a great thing, sounds like.
It's so cool. And it's in Baxley. I mean, it's just unbelievable what a blessing that is to have right here in town. So the connection between Tai Chi and acupuncture is interesting to me because of energy that flows. And so when I talk to y'all about, this is my great transition. Whenever I talk to y'all about open joints, by not locking your joint, by keeping that joint soft, so you have that soft bend in your elbow, that soft bend in your knees, to where you're not lock jointed, you're soft, that helps keep that energy flowing. And so there's that connection between acupuncture, getting the energy flowing, and then Tai Chi. And so energy, when I say energy, it's not the kind of energy like, you want to run all over town. You're just have so much energy. It's not that kind of energy. Energy is life. And so, how when you exercise, you just have a really good feeling, like you just feel good. That is energy. That's life energy. And so we want life energy. We want to feel good. And that's the difference between a dead body and our body, because our bodies have life. And so we want to have as much life as possible. And we do that by doing things like Tai Chi and other exercises. So with that said, let's do some of it. With Tai Chi, we always follow our principles, no matter what we do, whether we're doing our warm-ups or any of our movements. No matter what we do, we follow the principles and movement control, in that when we move, it's slow, smooth, and continuous. So we don't do anything fast in Tai Chi. We don't do anything sharp. No sharp movements. I always think of a cheerleader, like a cheerleader would go bump, bump, bump. It's just very sharp. And even lock joints, we don't do that in Tai Chi. We keep it slow, smooth, and then we keep that continuous movement. We also keep an upright posture where we have good, we're standing up straight. It's like a string that pulls up and down at the same time. And we're holding our weight in a way that's stable. So right now I have my feet about shoulder width apart, and my weight is on both legs. So Tai Chi teaches us body awareness, and out and about in the world, when we're, going along in life, we want to check our bodies and the way we're holding it so that we support it and lessen our chance of injury. So if we went around and we just put our weight on one leg all the time, we're going to start having some pain in our hip, probably pain in our lower back. But if we widen that stance, distribute our weight, then our body's going to be better supported. And we learn that through Tai Chi. All right, so let's start with our neck. Like I said, our body's in a good position. Our hands are to the side. We're keeping that nice breath as we go through our movements, bringing our hands up, palms down, towards our chin and chest. Push away from our bodies, and then follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. Feel a little stretch in the back of your neck. I like to inhale as I come up, and then exhale whenever I'm ready. The other one starts out this same way. We drop one hand to our hip and follow that hand as we look towards the shoulder. Come back to center, switch, side to side. This is always the part that's stiffest on me, so you probably experienced that too. We're just a people of very tense muscles. But keeping these muscles loose can help you not have headaches, shoulder aches. You hear about tension headaches. This is where one may originate. Hands down. Now let's roll those shoulders. And roll them back. It's like a little massage you give yourself. Let's do some shoulder circles, bringing those hands up, palms up, and push down. It's a good one to practice breath. Inhale up and exhale. One more. Now for our spine, let's get that ball, separate, pushing one in the air and one down towards the ground, stretching that spine. Remember, keeping that soft bend. Back to our ball and separate again. You want to practice breathing. Inhale as you come to your ball and then exhale as you separate. I just feel like I get a little bit better stretch when I exhale as I separate my hands. Well, let's take our ball and take it side to side. Switch hands. The hand that's on top tells us the direction. All of these moves help us with our flexibility, which helps improve our mobility or getting around. Helps relieve some of that tension and stiffness. Now, how about for our hips? Now, this is where it gets challenging. So if you need to use a chair, skip your hand movements for the sake of balance, just take care of yourself. We shift our weight to one side, heel forward, hands back, pause in the middle, and toe back, hands forward. Come back to center, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. One more time, pause in the middle, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see it from the side, but I'm going to shift my weight to that other leg, heel forward, hands back, pause, and toe back, hands forward. That stable leg really getting the work. Testing our balance, which of course helps make us stronger. And I know these movements are challenging, but anytime you challenge yourself with these movements, you're going to get better and stronger. So even if you need to skip hand movements and hold on to your chair, it's the weight shifting that's so important to help you with balance. So let's go shifting our weight side to side. I have my hands that are stacked like this, and I'm going to take them in the direction of the weight shift. And I only go as far as my frame. So I shift the weight and lift and tap out. Back, switch hands, shift, lift and tap, shift, lift and tap. So I'm keeping my body upright even though I'm shifting my weight to the side. All right, now for our knees, we have our loose fist down here by our hips, our relaxed shoulders. We're going to shift to one leg, lift, tap and punch the opposite hand. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Sometimes my balance really gets tested. Shift. I feel a little bit wobbly, and that's okay. All right, now this time we're going to step out. So I shift the weight, step, heel, toe, shift weight to that front foot as I punch the opposite hand, bring it back, feet side by side, shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, feet side by side. Don't forget to breathe as you go through these movements, even though it is challenging. Keeping that body upright. It's just so many things to be conscious of, isn't it? My knee sometimes doesn't like me when I'm doing this movement. So if your knee ever bothers you whenever you do that movement, remember that you're in control of how much weight you give it. So when I step out, this is my bad knee, but when I step out and I shift weight forward, I may just do a teeny tiny little bit of weight shift on it because that's the knee that bothers me. And I leave most of my weight on that back foot. So you're in control of how much weight you shift. And so that's one way to take care of that knee. All right, let's go to our ankles. Shifting the weight to one leg. Let's go heel, toe, heel, toe. So our ankles sometimes are forgotten about because they're farthest away from our eyes. Bring it back, shift, and heel, toe, heel, toe. Bring it back, shift, big toe, little toe. That one's a little more challenging. Shift, little toe, big toe. All right, shake it off. Do you have any questions about any of those warm-ups?
No.
Okay. You good, Miss Janice? You good, Miss Betty?
Yes.
I know somebody said no, but I wasn't sure who said it.
said no.
Okay. Well, I know that, you know, it's fairly new, and so I don't want to rush through it. But I always like to get to the point when we're able to do it without talking. So let's go through just a few for each one. We did this last week, but without the talking. So just follow me. We're going to go from head all the way to toe. Here we go. So that's a mini version of all of our warm-ups. And just know that we used all the principles while we did all of those moves. And if you only do the warm-ups and follow the principles, you're going to get the benefits from the Tai Chi. So don't stress if you can't remember the series of movements of commencement, open and close, single whip, waving hands in clouds. Don't get so stressed about having to remember all those things. If you simply did those warm-up moves and follow principles, you're going to get those benefits of reducing stress, anxiety, depression, strengthening your muscles, improving your balance and coordination, relieving chronic pain, increasing flexibility, improving mobility, reducing tension and stiffness, improving stamina, just from doing the warm-up stretches. So I'm giving you some slack on yourself. Follow the principles. That's what's most important. But there is a series of movements that we're learning. And so the first one is commencement. And remember, commencement is a step forward that's led by our left leg. So we shift the weight to our right foot, we step left, we shift left, and bring that right foot forward. The hand movement, our hands face each other the whole time. They come up facing each other. They come down towards our bodies, up, out, then back in. We put them together. Hands come up. When our hands come down, that's when we shift right. Step left, bring those hands in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Just love that second move because we know we're always going to be good at one. So let's turn around and put those together. And commence. Up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Come back, open and close. Y'all feel good about those two moves?
Yeah.
Do y'all hear some jingling?
Slightly, yes.
What is it?
I don't know.
I don't either. Let me mute. All right, let's see. I got you muted, Miss Janice. If I need to unmute you, I don't know why there was some background noise, but if I need to unmute you, just go, hey, don't forget me, and I'll unmute you. All right, so let's practice our commencement and open and close. So we have our good posture, our feet shoulder width apart, nice relaxed shoulders, and commence. Hands come up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Another time without talking, and commence. All right, our single whip. Now remember with our Tai Chi, everything we do is balanced. We do it to the right, we do it to the left. But when we do our first single whip, it is to the, I don't want to lie to y'all. Our first single whip is to our right. So when I do mirror image, I have to do it to the opposite side. So what we do when we do that first single whip is shift left, step right, push our hands out from that open and close position, turn our hands away from us, and then separate both of our hands, but I am following, Lord, I'm not good at this. Shift, I am following my left hand. If you want a key to remember it, it is the opposite hand of the foot that you stepped out with. So it's shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that. I think that's the left hand. Yeah, that's the left hand. Y'all know I struggle lying to y'all. So making sure that you separate both hands. You don't forget about that hand that you're not looking at. And you should feel that slight stretch in your neck. The same as when you do this warm-up exercise where you're looking towards that shoulder. You feel that slight stretch in your neck. You'll feel that whenever you do that movement. Because what are you doing? You're looking your head over towards that shoulder. So all of our warm-up exercises really do prepare us for our Tai Chi movement. So let's go back to that single whip. We have shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, eyes follow it, and head following that left hand, but still opening both. Bringing those hands down and that right foot back. That puts an end on that movement and gets us ready for waving hands and clouds. So you can step that right foot out if you feel unstable. All right, let's do it from the top. And commence. Up, down, shift right. Step left, bring those hands in and up. Shift left as they go out. Right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot back, hands down. All right, Let's do it again. And commence. Up. Down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out. Right foot forward. Hands come back, open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot back, hands down. And that gets us ready for waving hands and clouds. So waving hands and clouds is, to me, the most magical movement because we're really getting some good weight shifting down. And so what we're doing is walking to the side. In this instance, we are walking to the right. And when we touchy walk, we put that right foot out there. Then we shift the weight to the right foot. Then we step with the left. Then we shift left, step right, shift right, step left. Now notice my body stays upright. I don't lean into the steps either way. My body stays upright as I shift, step, shift, follow step, shift, step, shift, follow step. In general, when you step out, your feet are farther apart than hip width apart. And then when you shift and follow step, your feet are about hip or shoulder width apart. And so that may be something that you play around with. So what feels comfortable as you step and walk to the side? You might catch yourself and go, oh, that was a little too far. You may step in and go, oh, that was a little too close. So find what feels most comfortable for you. But in general, it's about hip or shoulder width apart to a little bit wider. Shift. So wherever your foot is now, you're going to pick it up and basically put it right down beside where it just was. So we're not making huge steps here. They're small steps to the side. Shift, step, shift, follow step. That's the footwork of waving hands and clouds. And if you really want to work on your balance, you will wave hands and clouds until you get to a wall, and then wave hands and clouds till you get to the other wall, because it's this weight shift that is so magical for our stabilizer muscles. We haven't done a thing with our hands yet, and I know it's called waving hands and clouds, so you would think that would be the most important thing of this movement, but it's the leg work. So really take some time to practice walking sideways, Tai Chi walking, shift, empty step, and when I say empty step, there's no weight there. Then give it weight, step, empty step, no weight, then give it weight. So take your time to practice walking sideways, one way, and then walk, Tai Chi walk, sideways to the other way, and experience the weight shift, experience the weight on one leg. That's a big determiner of your balance or your risk of falls. If you can easily keep weight on that leg, then you're less likely to fall. And that's what we work towards. By doing that exercise, we're making those muscles stronger. That's Tai Chi walk. I made that up, I think. I don't think that's an official work term, is Tai Chi walking. But that's Tai Chi walking sideways. As a side note, you can Tai Chi walk forward by stepping, shift, step. There's an empty step, so no weight on that leg. shift, step, shift, empty step, shift, empty step, shift. So that's Tai Chi walking forward. And that's another way to help encourage those stabilizer muscles to get stronger. Now, regular walking, that looks like this. That's how we go out and about in the world and walk. Regular walking is what they call controlled falling, because you're just throwing your foot out there and hoping for the best. You're throwing your foot out there and giving it weight without knowing there may be a problem. That's controlled falling or regular walking. But with Tai Chi walking, as we shift the weight, step, make sure that's stable before we shift the weight, step, make sure there's no problems, there's no hole, there's no little toy, shift, slowing it down helps build those stabilizer muscles. So that's a side note of Tai Chi walking forward as we talk about Tai Chi walking sideways. Now, if you ever played basketball or if you have seen basketball conditioning, you'll see how they'll kind of crouch down like this or squat down, and they kind of shuffle to the side like this. Shuffle to the side. That's a whole different thing, even though the movement is similar. Shifting the weight and walking to the side. All right, so that's the movement of waving hands in clouds. The first time we do it to the right, and then we'll get to the left in just a second. What does the hand movements look like? All right, so we're coming from that single whip where we brought our hands down, okay? So now what we're going to do is bring our, hold on. We're going to bring our right hand up crossbody, and our left hand is down here by our hip. So if I'm doing mirror image, it looks like this. So I brought my hands down. The left hand will engage here at my hip. My right hand comes across my body, almost like a sash, like we're the princess. All right, so whenever I put it up here, now I'm going to turn my torso here. So you see, my hands didn't really move. They just went along for the ride. My hands are actually still. And when I got over to that side, I switched my hands. So now the other one is crossbody like a sash, and this one is down here by my hips, and I turn my torso. Switch, turn, switch, turn. Almost looks like a robot, doesn't it? Switch, turn, switch, turn. This is the waving hands in clouds part of the waving hands in clouds movement. It's more of a turn than a wave, because a wave would be an arm movement. So we're going side to side. Does this remind you of anything? Well, it should remind you of when we had that little ball at our warm-ups for our spine, and we went side to side. So it's my torso that moves. It's a spinal movement, not an arm movement. My arms just go for the ride, here, and turn. So that's what that arm movement looks like for waving hands in clouds. How does it connect to the feet? All right. We just got finished with single whip, and we're here. So when I step out with my right foot, my right hand comes up across my body. I'm going to turn. Now I'm going to shift right. Step left. Now switch my hands. Turn. Shift left. step right, switch my hands, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. Okay, now let's come to the middle for open and close. So we do that step 3 times. A step and a follow step is 1. We do it 3 times. If you want to write down words and put them on a Post-it and put them in front of you, this will be backwards for y'all. But it says switch, step, turn, and then it says as I shift. But you can make your 4th word shift. Okay, switch, step, turn, shift, switch, step, turn, shift. And so that was something that was helpful to me whenever I was learning Tai Chi, is to have little Post-it notes and put them on the wall, and then I didn't have to think. My Post-it note could be my thinker, and I could just do the moves. So those are good tips in helping you learn and practice. But it is, and you know, you may find that a different order works for you. So I just thought of that where I say step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. So it's the same words in the same order. It's just what one do you want to do first? Step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, switch, step. Whoops, I think I said the wrong word. I did something different than what I said. Step, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn. So that's the rhythm of the movement. So let's do it in real time. All right, so let's start with our single whip, where we shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, eyes following that left hand, shift left, bring that right foot back, hands down. Here we go. Step right, fix your hands, switch your hands, turn, shift, step, switch, 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 turn. Now come to the middle for open and close. You feel good about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So what we have next is single whip and waving hands and clouds. Does that sound familiar? Well, yeah, we just did it, but we're just going to do it the opposite side. So we just finished the waving hand clouds to the right. We did our open and close. Now we got to do single whip and wave hands clouds to the left. So we open, close. Here's our single whip. Shift right, step left, push, turn, separate, following that right hand, opposite of the time we did before. Shift right, bring that left foot back, hands down. Now waving hands in clouds. Step left, fix our hands, turn, shift, step, switch, 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 turn. To the middle for open and close. And close it out. That's our basic 6. Now we just got to get better at it. And just a reminder is when I said close it out, that's that movement right there. Close it out is not one of our Tai Chi moves in the series of movements, but it's saying, hey, I know there may be more, but I'm done for now. Close it out. It kind of gives respect to what you just did. So when I say close it out, you're coming from wherever you came from and you just put your hands out and put your hands to your side. The way I think about that is, you know, I talked about energy at the beginning of our class, in that whenever we're doing all those movements of Tai Chi, we're kind of playing with energy. And then we play with this energy, we absorb the energy, we feel better from doing it. And when we close it out, it's like giving that energy back into the world. So that's how I like to think about closing it out. It's just saying, hey, I'm done. Here, respect to that and all the energy that I just played with, for a lack of better words. So let's go through that from the top of commencement. Follow me if you will. Here we go. I'm going to start a little to the right so I have space. You can see. Okay, here we go. And commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot back, hands down, waving hands in clouds. Step right, turn, shift, step, switch, 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 turn. To the middle for open and close. Now let's do it to the left. Single whip, shift right, step left, push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot back, hands down, waving hands in clouds. Step left, switch, turn, shift, step, 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 switch, turn. To the middle for open and close. And close it out. So that's our basic 6. Do a time check. All right, let's do it now without the talking. You remember how I said, whenever we do these movements without talking, we can experience what's called Jing, J-I-N-G. It's a mental quietness. You can't get it if I'm sitting here talking you all the way through it. It's easier to get when you're practicing on your own, but we can experience it just a little bit during class by doing it without talking. But I'm not going to leave you. I'm right here in front of you. So let's do all of our movements and experience mental quietness or Jing. So from the top, here we go, and commence. So there you go. What did you think about? I'm going to ask Miss Janice to unmute. What did you think about that second time? How we didn't
I got it better.
Huh? I wonder why it's making that noise. Do you know what that is, Miss Janice? Huh? Oh, I can't hear you over it. Can you hear it, Miss Betty? Is
I
it just?
cannot. It's even the jingle is louder than it was first time.
Yeah, I thought so too. I'm sorry, Miss Janice. I don't know what it is, but we're going to experience all of the things in Tai Chi. The talking it through so you're familiar with what we're supposed to be doing, the doing it with the quiet so that we can experience it that way too. I want you to learn the different parts of it and why we do it. But let's end our session with a little fist massage. This helps break up lactic acid. If you get sore, and you will get sore from shifting weight. And so that helps the soreness. A little fist massage. All right, now let's gather tension and then release it. We don't want tension. Goes against everything that we do in Tai Chi. We don't want tension. Gather and release. Gather and release. Gather and release. Let's do our big shoulder circle. Then we take our right hand and we make a fist that represents our strength. Our left hand with our fingers together represents our friendship. Our thumb end represents our humility. So we have strength, friendship, and humility. And in mutual respect, we say namaste. So thank y'all for this today. We will continue next week. We'll get better at our basic 6. We've learned it now. We'll just get better. If you get a chance to watch YouTube and, you know, practice any moves that you feel like you need extra help on, you know, the more that you do it, the more benefit you're going to get from doing it. So, you know what your time schedule's like, what your physical ability, your feelings about doing it is like. So, you know, you're in control of that, but just know the more you do it, the more benefit you'll get. Always let me know if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to help you over technology. That is always our friend, isn't it? Oh, I got to go work on getting Miss Marguerite and Miss Sharita. Both of them could not get into class today, and I don't know why. So I have to go try to figure it out. But I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I love y'all so much.
Love you, and thanks so much for a great class.
You're welcome. See you next week.
Hey, goodbye.
Bye.